saw it when I walk, boy. I saw it when I walk, boy.
Hello everyone, and welcome back if you're a part of the first series with us, and welcome for the first time today if you're just joining us for the second. But this time around we are going to be going over to B West. It's going to be Can't Counterpick Stupid versus Suds with Buds. So going to be another fun game, and let's take a look at the standings. Now this is a double round robin division, so each team is going to end up playing each other twice. Now, Suds with Buds currently sitting in 5th place at 4 points. Can't Counterpick Stupid currently sitting in 2nd at 9. So, should both be pretty close. I believe Can't Counterpick Stupid has played one more series over Suds with Buds. So, slight points discrepancy could be matched up to that. But either way, it should be a very fun series. And this time around, Can't Counterpick Stupid is the home team, and they elected to have first pick. So, map pick went over to Suds with Buds, and as we can see, they banned away Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom. Meanwhile, CCS has banned out Cursed Hollow and Brax's Holdout. So we are going over to Infernal Shrines once again today, but this time it's going to be the first map of the day. Now, before we do get started, we should be getting started soon. If anyone lives up in Canada or in northern US, there is supposed to be northern lights, some aurora borealis, as Principal Skinner would say, coming out tonight. So if it's dark out, if you're on the East Coast, keep an eye out for that. I hear in a lot of places it's already come through and it looks absolutely beautiful. So hopefully you're in one of the locations that can enjoy it. And if you are, be sure to keep an eye out for that, because I know I personally would love to see it someday. I'm always right on the edge of it. I'm like the as south as it gets in Canada, so I haven't really been able to see that. But yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, be sure to, well, look out the window. I guess that's really all that needs to be done for this. But yeah, it should be a pretty close game here. And like I said, this is Division B West, and this is a double round robin division. So each team is going to play each other at least twice. And I believe after that, I always forget how the flex matches work. I believe each team plays some team 3 times. If I'm completely correct. I think it is, judging by what Volcom is saying in the lobby chat right now. Apparently these two teams are going to be playing each other 3 times total. So this is going to be a pretty fun matchup, because these are going to be 2 teams that are going to know each other by the end of this season. Probably will end up playing at some point in the playoffs as well, just due to the way of how, well, not necessarily these 2 versus each other, but good chance they will be playing in the playoffs. So that could be a lot of fun as well. Just 3 best of 3s into a best of 5. The 2 teams will definitely know each other inside and out. They'll know each other's picks. They'll know each other's strategy. So today, at the very least, could be the day where we're gonna be seeing the scouting begin. We're gonna be seeing how these 2 teams do match up. But ready check is starting. Both teams are basically ready. So we should be heading into draft momentarily now. Again, with Infernal Shrines, it's kind of been the talk of every single HOTS Discord that I've been part of, but Infernal Shrines is getting a lot of changes specifically. Once the next patch comes out, already live in PTR, it's quite different. The push is going to be a bit easier. The Punisher is going to be a bit stronger, but it is time and we are in. Infernal Shrines for game number 1 between Can't Counterpick Stupid and Suds with Buds. So with Infernal Shrines, now one of the main changes, I always forget the exact number stats and I've been corrected so far every single time I match it, but the skeletons themselves are going to be getting magic armor. So they're going to be a little bit harder to kill for mages, and I'm guessing the idea for that is they don't want people just killing it for free over the wall while the team that has control isn't able to clear it. So that'll be a pretty interesting change. But then at the same time, I do believe they're also lowering their flat out HP. So strong mages like Chromie, they'll still be able to one-shot them, but slightly weaker ones will not. But it does open up how many physical damage dealers can just absolutely start bursting through this, how many can get the one shot instead of needing the 2 hits, etc. So overall, this map should be a bit faster. Then on top of that, they're also planning on changing the Punisher so that it does not jump behind gates. If the entire team is behind the gate, it will leap onto the gate itself. So yeah, it could be a little bit interesting to see, because I think that will make defense a lot harder. I think that'll make the Punisher itself a lot stronger overall. But to speak more about the game that we have in front of us, first ban is going to be coming out from CCS, and they're going to ban out the classic Stukov. Very difficult hero to play into sometimes. Just absolutely a tilt hero for some people. I'll be honest, back when I played in NGS for that whole season, I would always ask our captain to get rid of Stukov. I'm like, I just don't want to deal with it. I can deal with any other healer. I can deal with any other hero in the game. I was a Vala main. I'm like, put me into Zeratul. I am not playing into a Stukov. Even though now I'm a little bit better and I know how to do it. But either way, second ban is going to be coming through Suds with Buds. They're going to be banning away the Anubrak, trying to get rid of the kind of free engage. Very strong dive potential coming out of the Anubrak. It will make the engage a little bit more difficult, or at the very least, it'll force them to have it on a bit of a longer cooldown. Now, Anduin going to be the second ban, so a little bit of a healer focus coming out of Can't Counterpick Stupid right now. Just trying to get rid of as many of those more aggressive healers. I think that's kind of the pattern that I'm noticing. Anduin with a Chastise with a Light Bomb, definitely known to be kind of the battle healer. Just trying to get in everyone, not quite in everyone's face, and not quite like the Charism would, but definitely part of an aggressive team composition. Someone that helps the engage. Stukov could follow up as well. Lurking Arm, obviously really strong. Rhaegar going to be banned as well, who can also kind of dive into the engage. So we are probably going to have some more passive healers. So out of the ones that are kind of left, we still have Brightwing. Definitely among the most passive healers in the game. And this is a pretty tall map, so wouldn't be a bad pick. And I think with a healer pool cut short as it is right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see one or maybe even both of these two teams picking healer or their healers before the second ban phase. But first pick is still going to be the Joanna, and Volcom are going to be the one to lock that in. So now, according to draft theory, draft theory doesn't really matter here too much, but typically I would expect to see a tank and a healer coming out here. They already know they're into the Joanna. They don't know the DPSs though, so there is reasons to go against that, and they're just going to lock in the Vala. And Vala is a very good blind pick as well. Very solid at really every kind of combat style. You can do the auto attack build, you can do the Hungering Arrow for single target damage. There's also fire at will if you want to get that multi-shot bounce up, which we did see in the last game over in the Heroic Division. Obviously, it didn't end up going too well, but to be completely honest with that series, I don't think the talents really mattered. Whatever they picked, they would not have had a fun time there. But yeah, Vala can be played kind of everywhere, and Diablo can also get locked in for his Loth there. As I'm starting to fall behind a bit on the draft, but CCS, they're going to lock in the Tychus for Unicycle Yay and the Hogger for Zephy. All three of these picks right now for Can't Counterpick Stupid are some of the single best heroes for Infernal Shrines. They're very good at holding the shrines. They're very good at clearing them. The Tychus can help a lot with the siege afterwards as well, if you're able to hold Commandeer Odin until after you already get the Punisher. And Hogger obviously very good at taking those skeletons out. And I think with that new patch on PTR, Hogger's even better on this map. So could be a lot of fun to see how that's going to change up the meta once that does come into life. Probably won't for at least another month. I think that's typically how long they do the testing there. But definitely something I'm going to be very much looking forward to. But now Greymane, going to be the ban coming out from Suds with Buds. Trying to get rid of the backline in DPS. Well, not really backline. Can definitely go the auto attack build. But either way, you definitely want to have the opportunity to jump onto the back, get rid of the squishies, just basically one-shot him. Kind of that bursty DPS. even though that also has the consistent damage. But yeah, the healer bans are still going to continue. It's going to be the Alexstrasza getting removed. And Ana locked in for Travis Party. Malthael locked in for Ashen 1. Now the Malthael's a little bit curious, and I'm wondering if part of that is it could have been trying to remove it out of the pool. They already have Hogger for Zephy in the offlane, but I'm wondering if with the Diablo they were a little bit concerned that they would go Tychus and Malthael. It would make it very difficult to play the Diablo. But instead they're going to lock in the Oriole for Wit's End and Nazeebo for Zaev. Or for Zeliv, sorry. But, okay, Oriole's pretty good. They are definitely one of those compositions that want to just group up, death ball, walk in as a group. That's what Oriole does the best. But at the same time, with an Nazeebo, that's a lot of max percent HP, and that's what Malthael's really good into. So could be another bit of a difficult matchup. Malthael should do fine into Joanna, Hogger, Nazeebo. The damage is quite high from Nazeebo, so it's not quite as free as it used to be. And the final pick for Morale's NPC is going to be Kel'Thas. So they have a ton of burst damage on the side of Suds with Buds, and a decent amount of death ball healing and tank coming out from CCS. So I think this is going to be a game of scaling. I think it's going to be a game of who's going to be able to get the first move, and we'll see just who it is that's going to be able to do that in game number 1. All right, and we are loading into game number 1 between Counterpick, Stupid, and Suds with Buds. So should be a pretty fun game here. Should be a pretty closely matched rosters overall. Now, one thing I am looking at that I've started getting a little bit concerned about is they're not very tanky on the side of Suds with Buds. Obviously, Diablo's gonna be fine, but even with the Tychus, it could get a little bit iffy in some moments. But their offlaners, Malthael, they have Kel'Thas, Ana, and Vala in the backline. They have a little bit of self-peel. They have the Rain of Vengeance. They have the Gravity Lapse coming out from KT, Sleep Dart from Ana. But they're all still decently slow. They do have range, and that is kind of the main thing. There's not too much that can dive into the backline. Hogger can with Hortipult, but that's really it. Other than that, they do want to play front to back as well on the side of CCS. So maybe that's kind of the plan here. Just try to push straight through them. But again, we'll have to see as the game goes on, as we are still waiting to load in. It does seem like someone is struggling a little bit to get in, but we'll be in, and once we are, that's when the fun will begin. Now, the other thing I kind of want to bring up is that can't Counterpick Stupid. I think if they can get to the late game, that's when they're really going to spike, because Nazeebo definitely needs time to get online. It is not a hero that's strong right away. It's not a hero that's going to be a hard carry early on, not going to be tanky either. But once you get to the late game, once you're able to stack up that trait, you're going to have 1 billion HP. You're going to have 1 billion damage as well. And same with the same with the Oriole. Oriole does need a little bit of time to get that level. You want that level 16, and then you want to be able to stack it up. And then once your well is super high, that's when you have those massive AoE ancestral heals coming out, and that's when Oriole really starts taking over games. And we've seen that a lot happen both in the NGS and probably in some of our Store League games as well. Was a very frustrating hero to deal with. I think in general, because she wasn't picked for so long, it took a while for people to figure out how to play into it, but now they know. But either way, we are in game. All 10 players are kind of going towards the middle area, though as I say that, it's just Valkymer that's going to be there for CCS, just kind of walking in, spotting out the enemy. We'll get hit by the Sleep Dart, but it's still the Joanna. Now, out of the main talents, it is going to be Puncturing Arrow. I think that's usually the main one that can go either way, as we're actually seeing a decent amount of poke going onto the bottom wall. Not going to be too much, but looking at everything else, it is going to be pretty basic builds overall. Nazeebo always a bit different, but this is going to be the extra range. Think of the deep coming through. Righteous Assault on the prowl. Yeah, everything else is pretty standard, at least on the side of CCS. As Sloth actually could be in an interesting area here. Zephy going to be covering the mid lane, but none of the skill shots are able to land yet. So Sloth was a little bit behind enemy lines, but we'll just be able to walk it out no problem. And now the Condemn is going to land. Sloth going to be slowed down as well, but it's just tanks zoning each other. No one's really going to do any full committal there as the Amphibigoat trying to get a little bit of extra DPS down onto Valkymer. Try to get that puncturing arrow stacked up. Now, one other thing that I should mention is that Ana's actually pretty good into these death ball competitions, especially into the Oriole. This biotic grenade is incredibly good. The anti-heal properties that it has just completely nullifies the Oriole, so you have to play really careful. And it's a small AoE. It's the exact same size as the heal that's going to be coming out of Wit's End later on. So that's kind of how you counter the AoE ancestral healing. You just make sure that that healing basically goes immediately to 0. It will require a bit difficult position coming out from Travis Party, but if Travis Party is able to do it, it will definitely give them some major advantages. But level 4 talent starting now to come out for both of these two teams as Wit's End takes a little bit of poke, but again, it's the Oriole. Oriole doesn't really care too much as Zelov will take a Hungering Arrow as well. Down up to 4 stacks now in Puncturing Arrow. Okay, so this is a weird thing to call about, but I've always wondered how they chose 1,000 as the max. Like, why 1,000? The others, that's understandable. It's overflow. It's basically how many bits of memory. But Ashen 1 walking a little bit too deep and just gonna get taken down. Phase checking a little bit onto this bottom Impaler camp. So that is gonna be first blood going over to Counterpick Stupid. As over on the Bruiser camp, Amphibigoat and Travis Party gonna be taking it down together. Amphibigoat is a little bit low in mana, probably will be forced to Hearth here, as the Shrine is going to be active in 10 seconds, but Morale's NPC does have the first move, but it doesn't look like they really care too much about that Shrine. Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're pushing the pace pretty hard in the bot lane. Already took out most of the Swallow Sloth. Now in the area, Travis Party as well with the Sleep Dart, able to land it on it too, but very good attainment strike from Wit's End coming through as Unicycle Ye was almost overpowered back into the wall. But the entire wall is going to be cleared out here. Sloth, and with the help of the rest of the team, is going to come through and clear out everything else here. A little bit of trading on the top side as well as Ashen 1 and Zephy both trying to fight. But again, the Bruiser camp was taken by Suds with Buds. The Bruiser camp has not been touched by Counterpick Stupid. They decided to use their advantage to try and push the bottom lane instead. But Ashen 1, again, taking a lot of damage. Condemn is going to be there as well. Shield Guard, 40 HP left, and it does go down to 0 decently fast at that point. So it is going to be another kill going over, and that's level 7 as well for Counterpick Stupid. But one thing they do have going for them on the side of Suds with Buds, right now they're just going to be giving up the top side, and they're just going to be focusing on their waves. They're going to be focusing primarily on this middle wave, I should say. They'll be clearing it out. They got their own level 7, but it does look like they're willing to give away this Punisher right now. And the first Punisher of the game really isn't that strong. So if you're able to show up for the defense for it, while you're getting these advantages in the side lanes, it could be worth it. But I don't think the advantage they got was big enough. I think with their own level 7, they could have looked to contest it. But at the same time, both teams just need a little bit of extra time before they can really come online, before they can really get that damage coming through. But now Amphibigoat gonna get hit. The Punisher just everywhere right now. It is the Mortar Punisher, so it does deal a decent chunk of damage. Doesn't have the slow at the very least. It's not the Frozen Punisher, but the wall is going to be going down. The Punisher should follow immediately after, but that'll still be a decent bit of damage onto the core. But now Detainment Strike and the Condemn is a lot. They're actually taking a lot of damage, but Unicycle Ye starting to get a lot of damage dealt in the backline as well. Gravity Lapse is going to land. Valkymer might not have the Iron Skin anymore, and the final Flame Strike is going to come through. Morale's NPC gonna secure that kill for Suds with Buds. They're able to keep their fort alive, but again, they lose another wall. But at the very least, they got the kill, and without the front line, they could look to trade this wall on the top side themselves instead. And now Unicycle Ye gonna take a little bit of damage from the Flame Strike. They're gonna get this push going. Wit's End in the area as well. And the damage is starting to add up. I don't know if they'll be able to finish off the full wall, but Amphibigoat actually gonna get sent up into the wall, but with the Biotic Grenade going to be okay. So 9-9 still, in terms of experience, still a little, about a quarter of a level, maybe a third of a level lead for CCS. So they definitely do have an advantage. And now they have level 10s, Valkymer, to look for the engage. It is 4v3 though, so they're not willing to pull the trigger even with the heroics. But they are going to be pushing with this Bruiser camp. Zloth not letting it walk in though. Flame Strike just continuously being used. They're trying to get as much poke as possible onto this Shaman in the backline. And it looks like they're not going to be able to push this in. Level 10 now going to be there for Suds with Butts as well. But Ashen 1 now going to be picking up this camp on the bot side. However, Zelev already on the way, could end up catching out Ashen One. But looks like Ashen One should be able to secure this. I'm very curious. Okay, Zelev's not even going to walk in, so that is going to be the siege camp over. But the Gargantuan actually going to get spawned up just to deal some damage onto the fort. Now, Ashen One not looking to clear away, just going to be looking to deal a little bit of poke damage on his Zelev. And now we'll clear away this bottom side. So it's not a huge wave. It's mostly just the Gargantuan that's making it look bigger than it is. But they will be able to clear it. However, they brought all 5 members down to the bot side. So this means that in the top side, Zephy just going to be getting some free push in the top lane. And with this wave, might even be able to take down this fort. And with the new changes that are coming to PTR and near you, this would also be some upgraded minions as well. So that is going to be top fort, just kind of going down for free. A little bit of better rotations coming out of CCS. Pretty good macro play overall, finding that angle. But now, Ashen One is going to be back here, still looking for Zephy. And we'll be able to spot out, but Zephy's already long gone. And again, CCS, they have the numbers on the bot lane. They have the wave pushed in, and they're just going to get some free damage onto this fort as well. Unicycle Ye just going to start hitting onto this fort as Valkymer just in the air trying to zone Wit's End as well with a Detainment Strike. Very brave from the healer, but it does slow down Sloth. It does prevent the team follow-up. And again, look at the damage they managed to get onto this fort. It's almost completely down. One more good push. It doesn't even need to be a good push. One more mediocre push, and it'll be gone. But Ashen One could also be getting caught out. And with the blind, with no mana, just immediately going to get taken out as the shrine spawns. So CCS, they're going to have a very solid opportunity for themselves here. And it looks like they're going to be the ones to pop this. They're going to start on the skeletons, but Amphibigo starting to deal a decent bit of damage. Valkymer actually taking a lot of damage. Crystal Aegis is there. Biotic Grenade's going to land as well. Rain of Vengeance, so not in range. So they won't be able to get the kill, but they will be able to get out the Crystal Aegis. And one interesting thing, it is Falling Sword that's going to be there for Valkymer. It is not going to be the Blessed Shield. So a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of a slower engage though. As now Zephy will get hit by the Sleep Dart, and Sloth, Detainment Strike into the wall, is all alone. APOC coming out, but the fight is already over. Now Falling Sword is going to come through, but look at that, 75 magic resist, and the Pyroclasm does not, the Pyroblast does nothing. Just basically did 0 damage over to Unicycle Ye, still at full HP. And now Zelev going to get hit with the Living Bomb. Sleep Dart not going to land. But it does seem like this is just going to be going over. But Unicycle actually taking a decent amount of damage on the return play. Ashen One still looking to fight. Tormented Soil as well onto Wit's End. They have found the healer, and they're going to be able to take them down. And now Ashen One and Zloth, they're stuck in the zombie wall. It is 2v4, but Zloth and Ashen One, they're still doing okay. As Zephy and Unicycle Ye, now they're the ones that are pushing forward. Ashen One going to get hit by the grenade. Zephy just needs one more hit with the dynamite. Not going to be able to land. And in the meanwhile, the Arcane Punisher going to finish off this bottom fort, and with that they're going to be able to continue their push as well. It was a 1-for-1 trade overall, but they were also able to zone Ashen One completely away. We'll at the very least pick up the top lane, but Odin gonna get called in this bottom side, and Amphibigo is gonna be taking the lead. As meanwhile in the mid lane, Zephy and Zelev with the help of the Gargantuan just going to be starting on this mid lane fort as well. So it looks like CCS, they're really just starting to take over this map. They have almost a level and a half lead for themselves. This wall is not going to go down completely. It is quite low as the game falls before our eyes. There's going to be a little bit of health left on this cannon tower. As in the mid lane, once again, 6 out of 5 play. They're going to be able to get this for themselves. And on the return play, again, they have a full level lead. They're just going to pick up the siege camp, and they could look to contest the other one. But at the same time, for Suds with Buds, this is when you would want to fight, because you're still on an even talent here. As Unicycle Ye gonna get overpowered in the backline, will try to dash forward, but instead they are looking onto the backline. Falling Sword from Valkymer, gonna keep Valkymer safe though. If that was a Blessed Shield Joanna, that Joanna's dead. That's all I'm gonna say there. But at the very least, it is gonna keep them alive. Not gonna be able to use it aggressively. Not gonna be able to use it to protect the team. But you know what? Valkymer's part of the team, so in a way, it did protect the team because their front line's still alive, and Valkymer's still gonna be able to be here in zoning. But while they're grabbing their own camp, Zephy just gonna get started on this top side. Hog Wild, bounce, 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 bounce. So should be able to just steal away this Bruiser camp. But the double Bruiser camp push on the top side, that's actually gonna be pretty scary. I think that's almost as strong as a full Punisher right now. And Zephy will be able to secure it. No one's even gonna be able to check it on the side of Suds with Buds. And again, they're just getting out pressured on the macro right now. They're just really not able to reply to any of this pressure that CCS is able to attribute on the map. But now the grenade is going to land, going to deal a little bit of damage to all three of them. And the Impalers and the Cannons and the Odin going to get popped in the mid lane, as well as Sloth forced to use the Shadow Charge just to get out of the zombie wall. And again, the damage onto these structures still coming through. And now Sloth could even be selected onto the backline. Going to get the Tamen struck into the wall blind as well. The damage just barely isn't there. They're looking for it. Unicycle Yay was dashing forward, hoping to get the final hit, but they're not going to be able to get it. It is now level 17 to 15, so obviously they've already had level 16 advantage for a while, but they're just continuing with this push, and it looks like they may even be able to just finish off this keep in its entirety. It is very low. The Impalers are still alive. The Frogs are still hitting that dot. They just need a little bit more, I believe, in the cannon. One more hit, and there it is. It is going to be the grenade coming out of Unicycle Yay to be able to finish that. As meanwhile, in the top side, again, the double Shaman, as even Zephy on their own, just going to be able to run this in. Got to be able to finish off the wall, and most of this keep. This has not been a very high kill game series, especially compared to the one we had earlier. But it is currently 5-2, only 7 kills in 12 minutes, but almost a full 2-level lead for CCS. And all of this is just their macro play. And this is the sign of a team that has been playing together for a long time. They know how they want to play. They know exactly what their goal is going into these games. And I think that's where Valkymer especially is going to shine. Is definitely a veteran of the NGS, and this team has been together for a while, so they're just playing really well together, and that's really giving them this advantage. But now Valkymer could be in a bad spot, but again, Iron Skin is going to be able to get them out of safety. But now the fight on the other side of the map, Unicycle Yay with the Rain of Vengeance is going to get taken down. Wits End could be next, and the stasis is there for Zelev, but Zelev now all along. Gargantuan is going to come through. Pyroblast is going to get blocked by the Crystal Lasers, but it's still a 3-0, and Valkymer was zoned out at the start of that, so you did not have your front line. And just like that, it's 5-5. The kill score is tied, and they're pushing over this bot side on the side of Suds with Buds. However, Zephy has been hitting onto this shrine this entire time, so they're already at 28 skeletons. And even if the team runs immediately up to the top side, it might just be a little bit too late. And Zephy's still there fighting with Ashen One, but Zephy's also winning in this 1v1. So there should be a Punisher pushing into the top side, and that's a very low HP thing, as Loth might have stepped up a little bit too far. Valkymer trying to get that kill back. Takes a lot of damage in the process, but because Loth's so low HP, they need to hearth backwards, and they need to come back and deal with this Frozen Punisher, because Ashen One could be in a dangerous spot. Will get hit with a staggering blow, and just a couple more hits. Dynamite there as well. One more auto, and if this Hog Wild comes through, if this Punisher comes through, but it's not going to, Ashen One gonna be able to survive. Zephy almost gets that solo kill on the top side, but because there's no one on the team to really push with this Punisher, it's not going to be able to deal as much damage to this keep as you typically would have liked. It's going to start getting those auto attacks now, but the lead should be coming out soon as well, and it will be focusing more onto those heroes. So this keep is going to stay alive. They have been able to keep it alive. They've been able to keep it safe. But again, the lead, it's still growing. 1.5 oh, actually no, it's shrinking a little bit now, but 1.5 level is still definitely there for Counterpick Stupid, and they're about to hit their level 20s. So this next siege, this next potential fight over a shrine, if they want to wait for that, this is going to be the moment for Counterpick Stupid to go. I think if they just start running through this bot lane right now, this is their timer. But instead they're going to back up. They want to take their siege camp. Level 20s are now going to be coming through. And it is going to be Heaven's Fury, as now Zloth a little bit alone, and the APOC is going to come through. But again, there it is. The Falling Sword just keeping everyone alive. And now Zephy just buying so much space in the backline. Rain of Vengeance, so they're looking for Zephy. Zloth, and meanwhile, going to go down. And Fibigoat is all alone in the backline. Will get taken down as well. Now Zephy is going to get turned around on Ashen One. Will be able to trade it back a little bit, as Flame Strike deals a lot of damage. And now the Pyroblast coming through, but I do expect Unicycle Yay is going to be okay. So it is a 2-for-1 with a level 20 advantage, but that's a fight. Or sorry, a 1-for-1 actually. So if you're down 20s, a 1-for-1 isn't necessarily bad, but you are missing your main carry. But at the same time, with them missing their offlaner on the side of CCS, it's going to be a little bit harder for this push, but they're still going to pop the Odin. They're still going to try and make this happen. It's Unicycle Yay going to get hit by another Flame Strike, which means another Living Bomb is going to land as well. But the heals from Wits End, they are definitely online. They are definitely coming through. Interestingly enough, it is going to be Wrath of Heaven instead for level 16. So it's not going to be that endless well. It is going to be kind of buffing the team instead. And I think with their playstyle, that does make sense. They care more about just grouping together and sieging. They don't want to have these big, flashy team fights. But this bot lane keep is still going to stay alive. They're not able to get any other major structures with their level 20 advantage, as level 20 now matched by Suds with Buds. And the level lead overall has definitely shrunk. It is less than a level now, just slightly. It's about a level, but it's no longer that level and a half that it used to be. And now Bruiser Camp is up on the top right. Siege Camp going to get finished off on the left side by Counterpick Stupid. So Bruiser Camp, if they're able to get this, this will finally give them a little bit of reprieve in the top side. And especially with a Shrine spawning in the bot side, this is going to be, it's going to give them a little bit of extra pressure on the map overall for the side of Suds with Buds. But can't Counterpick Stupid. They're just continuing to play fast, and they're just going to be running right into this keep. They're not going to get too much damage on it, but they are going to force the entire team to kind of respond to it. And there are all 5 members here. Ashen needs to get back soon, otherwise they are going to lose. His Gargantuan is going to get popped as well. Zombie wall, and again, this is the late game Nazebo now. At this point, Nazebo's just going to be able to shred through these structures. And now Volcamer may have gone a little bit too far, but just going to pop the Iron Skin to be able to walk this out. And the Shrine does activate in the bot side. And because they just pushed through the bot lane, they have first move here. They know they have the passive pushing in the mid lane. They know that if they walk together in the bot wave, they cannot answer on the side of Suds with Buds. So they're going to get the first move now. At the very least, they do have Shamans pushing in the top side. As now Falling Sword is going to be their Volcamer. Now stuck. That teleport is going to land the stun. Volcamer starting to take a decent bit of damage. But so is everyone else in the front line. And they're going to be able to take that one. Look at the Hog Wild Zephy just spinning to win. Going to be able to get that. And just completely zoning away the back line, taking them down to basically nothing, while the rest of the team just cleans up the front line. It's a 3-for-0. And now they're just going to be able to get themselves this Punisher. I don't think I've ever seen a Hogger spin that fast in my life. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone on CCS doing a fantastic job in that fight, but I've never seen anything spin just like that. That was definitely something else. But with this Punisher, with these death timers, I do think CCS should be able to end the game here. It's really just going to come down to Travis Party and Morales NPC just trying to hold this wave, trying to hold the game alive, but it's going to be difficult. I'm not even sure if it is going to be doable. Gargantuan going to get popped here as well. Odin is available if Unicycle A wants to pop it in. They will right as we're approaching. And with the double wave, with the Odin, with the Punisher, that's all that they're going to need. And can Counterpick Stupid are going to win game number 1. Really well played by Counterpick Stupid. And now, again, the kill score, 10-6, it's really not that big of an advantage, especially for a game like Heroes of the Storm. But the way they won was just entirely through macro play. They were just getting more on their rotations. Every single time they rotated, they would get the same thing that Suds with Buds would get, and an extra wave. They would both catch the Impaler camps, but CCS would get the third Impaler camp. Then they would steal away the Bruiser camp, and just so on and so forth. And they were just so much faster on their rotations. They were so much crisper on their rotations. They knew when to move. They seemed to be all together when they moved. And I think that's really what made the difference there. So really well played by CCS, just really showing their strength as a team. Now, we are going to go to a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be headed straight into game number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Industries.
Welcome back, everyone. It is time for game number 2. And as you can see, we are going over to Volskaya Industries. So it's going to be very, very different map. Not one that we see too often either. So going to be a lot of fun to see how both these two teams play. And this is a bit more of a macro-oriented map. So if CCS, if they play a similar style to how they did in game number 1, then this could be in the bag for them. But obviously, Suds with Buds, they're not just going to let it happen. They're going to fight their hardest. And who knows, maybe they just weren't able to follow on that map. But here on Volskaya, that's where they're going to be able to shine. And that's where they're going to be able to take this game. And hopefully take us to game number 3. And like I always say, I'm a caster. I'm unbiased towards teams. I'm never unbiased. I will always be going for that 3-game series because those are the most fun to cast. Those are the most fun to watch. but obviously every single game matters, because losing 2-1 means you still get 1 point. Losing 2-0 means you don't get anything. And then for the team that wins 2-0, you want that 2-0 win because you get an extra point for it as well. So a lot on the line here. It is still early on in the season. It is a double round robin. So again, points are going to be available whichever way this goes. But the draft has already begun, and it is going to be Inubarak banned away first on the side of Suds with Buds. And it's important to note that they did ban first. That means they did get first pick for themselves. This map was selected by CCS. As Stukov going to be the first man once again. And it looks like they are just going to be targeting primarily those healers again. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just going to continue that. Get rid of the Stukov, get rid of the Anduin once again. And then maybe on the opposite side, things would be a bit different. But you never know, because the pick order has been changed. They no longer have first pick, they have second pick now. So maybe there's something they're a little bit concerned. Well, maybe they don't want to let the Joanna through like they did, because Valkymer obviously locked that in first last time. Do they want to risk it open? Do they want to just get rid of it? I think that's really the question. And if they do leave the Joanna, that would mean the Anduin could be open. So there's a lot to think about here for the side of Counterpick Stupid, as we are going to be seeing the Rhaegar banned once again. So no change in bans coming out from Suds with Bud. They're just going to stick to their original two, regardless of side here. As the final ban coming out of Counterpick Stupid, it's actually going to be the Ana. So that's a bit of an interesting one. Obviously it was played pretty decently by Travis Party. They still ended up losing, but clearly made a big enough of an impact that they just don't want to deal with it anymore. The Ana was too strong. The Ana was a little bit too much for them to handle on the side of CCS. Or at the very least, not something they'd want to handle once again. But this does mean Joanna's available. It means Anduin's available. And if they don't pick one here, and they are going to lock in the Joanna for Sloth, it does mean that the Anduin is going to be open for CCS if they want to take it themselves. So I don't know how much they prioritize Anduin. It is something that is prioritized differently team by team. But at the same time, Joanna Anduin is a very strong combination. So would not be surprised to see them lock it in for themselves, at least to just kind of remove it. But every offlaner is still in the pool as well. There's still the Dahaka. There's still the Hogger. I was just going to say, is Zephy going to lock that in once again? And Unicycle Yay going to be locking in the Sylvanas. So even more push potential coming through. Now, I definitely like the Tychus pick more on the Infernal Shrines. But I think Sylvanas, while she doesn't do as well on that map, just because you want to hit over the Punisher, you want to hit from a distance when you're sieging, and you want that AoE clear, Sylvanas does a lot better on Volsky because you no longer need any of those things. The Protector is going to be pushing with you. In fact, there's a good chance that Sylvanas would be the one piloting it. Whoops, as I completely ran into my mic. Not sure if that came on broadcast, but... So they're going to have a pretty solid push with the Sylvanas if they're able to get into a position to utilize those black arrows. Meanwhile, Morales NPC going to be locking in the Anduin. And then Amphibigoat once again going to be on the Vala. So the damage is going to be there. They have more setup. And again, Joanna Anduin, it's a very strong pair. There's a reason why we see it every single division. All the way from Div E, rest in peace, all the way up to Heroic as well. Just Joanna Anduin, very strong combo. Two very strong heroes as well. Can basically make whatever you want happen. But Imperius is going to be the first ban in the second phase of bans coming out for CCS. The response from Suds with Buds will be, drumroll please, the Muradin. That's actually a really interesting ban. So I'm wondering if they just want to get rid of something that has a lot of HP but is low cooldown. Because in general, Muradin has a pretty good time of just going in and out of fights. It doesn't need a full commit to anything. I think it does struggle a little bit into Anduin and Vala, but at the same time, because of the high HP pool, because of the extra armor you get from Dwarf Toss, it's not going to be it's not going to ever get one shot. It will be able to just hop back over the wall and get back up to safety. But instead, it's going to be Variant locked in for Valkymer. So probably main tank Variant here, especially as we already see Hogger on Zephy. And then Kelthus locked in for Zelev. So they're going to have a lot of burst damage themselves. And that's what I like, because I know a lot of people think, or a lot of people say, when you pick Variant, you got to have with the Stukov. Well, Stukov's banned. You can still definitely pick the Variant. There are definitely situations where it's good. And as long as you have burst damage over top of it. And I think with Hogger, with Sylvanas, and especially with Kelthus, they're going to have it. But two very spicy picks at the end. It's going to be Zoe locked in for Ashen One and Maiev locked in for Travis Party. So they're going to have a lot of damage. They're going to have a lot of guaranteed lockdown. Zoe obviously has that point and click route. Maiev going to be able to just chain people backwards with the Emerald Bind. Pretty scary combination if they're able to play it. This is a very high skill composition to try and run. As the final pick, going to be Brightwing for Wit's End. Very good on this map as well. It is a very tall map, a very wide map as well, just very large. So that phase shift is going to be able to buy a lot of space there. So that is going to be our draft. I think this could be very interesting. I really like what Suds and Buds have, but at the same time, it is going to require very strong mechanics to be able to play this correctly. But if they're able to do it, if they're able to bring out the potential of their composition, I think they could definitely win this. But either way, we're going to have to find out once we head into game number 2. And we are back. We are loading into game number 2, but should be a pretty fun one here. But before we do get started, once again, I would like to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, Factor 75. Factor 75 is a meal service plan. They deliver it right to your door. It shows up. You just cook it real fast, less than 2 minutes to prepare every single meal. Then you eat the deliciousness. It's a lot cheaper than eating out and a lot healthier too. So click my link or use my code FACTOR82337. Get 50% off your first box and free breakfast for 1 year. Or click the link in the chat, which will take you straight there. And once again, thank you Factor 75 for sponsoring this stream. But with that, the countdown is done. It's time for both these two teams to crash mid. As they say that, Unicycle Yay already going to be riding right up to that top lane. With the Black Arrows, not going to be able to deal too much damage on their own. But so far, just kind of sneaking up forward, not hitting onto any of the structures yet, as all 5 members are showing on the bot side. So Unicycle Yay gonna use the Black Arrows. Does take a couple hits though, which is definitely a little bit of a concern, but still gonna be about half of that cannon tower gone, as a little bit of a fight breaking up in the mid lane. So overall, a solid push. Not gonna be able to finish off the structure, but we'll get first move in the top lane. We'll be able to get a decent chunk of damage, over halfway on that cannon tower. Now Zloth is going to be trying to prevent everyone else from coming through, but Gravity Lapse is going to land on Typico. And it is going to be the puncturing arrow build once again, as the Emerald Bind not going to be able to pull anyone back. Sloth with a condemn onto 3, but again, the damage just not really setting up. It's just going to be used more as a zoning tool there. But the overall push definitely favoring CCS as Sloth, actually taking a lot of damage throughout all that. And that's considering Volcomer doesn't really have a hero yet. Variant needs level 4 before they become useful, but the Iron Skin is going to come through. The extra blind as well, and Unicycle Yay taking a decent bit of damage. The healing coming out, with the exception of Phase Shift, is decently low overall from the Brightwing until level 10. Does struggle a little bit unless you have very pristine positioning. And so far, Wit's End is able to do it. Just the slow but sure nature of the playstyle that CCS have does do quite well with Brightwing, but we're gonna have to see what they do right now, because they are getting their fortification cap invaded upon Volcomer trying to walk in. Already used to protect Zealot. They've been in a bad spot as well, but yeah, they're just gonna be able to steal that away for free. And that's just gonna be a fortification cap, a turret going over to Suds with Buds. Pretty strong advantage to get early on. Now Zealot trying to walk forward. Umbra Bind is gonna land. We'll get pulled back, and Zealot in a bad spot, and just so many roots coming through. And that is going to be first blood going over to Suds with Buds, starting off much stronger in the second game. Now Unicycle Yay once again trying to get the push. They had the wave, but the rest of the team from Suds with Buds arrives, and Unicycle Yay just going to have to back away. The wave they were setting up with the siege camp as well, not going to be able to get too much value, as now Volcomer just trading with Ashen One. I always forget what this is. I think it's Bone Prison, yeah. Coming out from Zol. Like I said, I don't get a cast Zol too often, but now Travis Party gonna have the Emerald Bind, gonna push Unicycle Yay back. We'll take a little bit of damage from the cannon turret, but not too much. And Wit's End is there to heal it all back up. But again, massive wave here on this top side. They're actually just gonna immediately start sieging this down, and they should be able to finish off this entire wall, especially with the Black Arrows. Sloth is gonna be here now. Travis Party could look for someone with the Sloth, but Unicycle Yay just gonna be able to use the Haunting Wind to get back safe. But Ashen One in the meanwhile just gonna get taken down. Volcomer and Zephy 2-on-1 gonna be able to get the kill in the bot lane. So once again, they're just kind of winning out on the macro. They got the play in the top side and in the bot side at the same time. At least the siege count plus taken by Amphibigoat, so they're going to have a little bit of a priority in the top side. They're the ones that are going to be pushing the tempo there. But the first objective of the game has already spawned, and it is going to get started by Valkymer, just trying to hold that control point. And we'll get pushed off as Valkymer might even be in a bit of a dangerous spot. Has the protection coming through. But that's still going to be 2 stacks for Puncturing Arrow coming through. That's going to be an extra 12 permanent damage. So, gotta respect that as Travis Party still trying to hold top. As Ashen meanwhile, still fighting with Zephy and Wit's End. But the Polymorph, so annoying. Zeld is very fast at clearing if you're able to utilize that ability. But, again, when you have the Polymorph, you're basically just able to turn it off entirely. Now, overall, the objective is about tied. Slight lead right now for Suds with Buds, especially since they're still the ones holding it. Level 7s for both sides, too. So, no talent advantage to hold this. So, it's really just going to come down to the mechanics, to the fight itself. Because now the Condemned does land Bone Prison, but Hogwild going to be able to get out to safety. Taunt onto the front line. They're able to find Ashen one. And the turret is going to be placed as well. In fact, they're going to place both turrets. So, kind of a full committal coming out here from Suds with Buds. Black Arrow is going to be able to turn off one of them as Zephy still taking a decent amount of damage. Zelov actually pulled in, but the damage just not there yet. Travis Party going to be able to pull them back, and it is overtime. But Ashen one is going to be the one taunted. Polymorph as well. Leap of Faith, though, will keep them alive. So, they're not able to hold it completely, but they are at 99%. They still have a lot of time to play for the retake, and it looks like they're just going to do that immediately. Valkymer just forced to back off, and if they lose this objective, that's just going to be it. Bone Prison as well, just trying to keep them zoned away, and Valkymer trying to walk in, but Zephy from the backline will be able to, as now the fight is still brewing. Zephy taking a lot of damage, and the turret will get placed, but it's too late. The Protector has already been taken, and now Travis Party going to hop in there. And now they get the push. Now, how much can they get for this as Wit's End taking a lot of damage just from the Protector. Same with Unicycle. Yay, talk to the hand to push him out into the wall. And it looks like they're just going to send this up to the top side. And again, this is one of the strongest objectives you can have. It's very strong at taking out enemies as killing the bot lane. Zella, Valkymer, and Zephy together. Just able to take down the Ashen one as Unicycle almost going down just to the Protector. One more snipe, not going to be able to find it as Talk to the Hand going to disable the fort for a little while. But won't be able to finish off more than just this wall. But even just the wall on its own, it's a pretty big win for them. They're going to have that extra little bit of advantage as Wit's End takes a decent amount of damage. And with those bounces, might even get the kill. Yeah, Wit's End just going to go down. Amphibigoat able to get the snipe with the Hungering Arrow. But that is still level 10 advantage right now for CCS. But without the healer, they're not going to be able to really make use of it. And so they're just going to play back a little bit. It's not the biggest deal. They don't need to use their advantages. Especially with the way they play. They are typically one of the slower teams in terms of their strategies overall. But Ashlyn just going to group up and will finish off all of these minions. And that will be level 10 coming out for Suds with Buds as well. Again, bit of a slower game in terms of combat. It is 2 for 2 overall the kill score. But again, it's just going to be that big macro map coming in for both these two squads. Now, Zilliv and Wit's End just going to be catching this mid wave. And it looks like the Biotic Emitter is going to get started. Now, this could be the next opportunity for a fight to break out. Right now, it is 4 versus 4 up here, so it is even. Now, Containment Disc is going to land. So what are they going to use after that? Blessed Shield is there, Rain of Vengeance as well, and they are both blind. They are just going to take down this poor Sylvanas. Now Zloth trying to hold the point. And the Dome, the Holy Word Salvation. It is not the Light Bomb coming in. And they're just going to be okay. Morales NBC keeping them all alive. They do use a turret for it, but they get the kill and the Biotic Emitter back. So I think overall they're definitely going to be happy with that trade. And it does completely not just negate the level lead that CCS had, it has reversed it. They have a very slight lead for themselves now. But now, both sides still looking to fight for the next objective. Control point going to be up in that top side. No forts have gone down yet, so no passive pressure coming through. But the fortification camp has spawned. They could look for it. Zloth even going to be walking in, going to be able to scout it out. Do they want to go in on this? It looks like they do. Zloth's just going to walk in. The Black Arrows have already been used. Condemned going to be able to find Unicycle. Yeah, Unicycle A taking a decent bit of damage. Will be forced to use the Haunting Wave to get out to safety, but Valkymer is here. But they have the turret if they want to use a Biotic Emitter already going to be placed. And now the fight could be coming through. The Condemned there as well. Now just a 5v5 out of nowhere. And first they're gonna take down 2, and maybe even a third Zephy, just trying to survive 120 HP with one final shot coming out of Travis Party. That's gonna be a 3-0, and Suds with Buds just able to take the fight to CCS. And now they have a full level advantage. They're just gonna start shoving into this bottom wave. They do use all of their deployables. They use the biotic emitter and the turret that they just stole. But again, you get the experience from the steal, you get the fight, and look at the structural damage they're dealing here. I think they should just be able to fully finish off this bot lane fort. They have another wave on the way, and probably won't even need it at this point. It's just going to be the first structure of the game, and Suds with Buds, they are on the board, and they are definitely in the lead here. Over a level lead over Counterpick Stupid at this point. Now the siege camp they had on the top side will get pushed off, will get taken down, and level 13 now going to get matched by Counterpick Stupid. And with the objective being on this top side, that's where the focus is going to be. Ashen One just going to try to collect this wave, but may have gone a little bit too deep, as we're seeing Sylvanas getting jumped on the top side, but Leap of Faith going to be their containment disc, though, has been able to find them. And with the stun, with the silence, Unicycle Yay just going to be going right down again. And it's going to be another advantage going the way of Suds with Buds. And now they're going to be able to get this objective, maybe even a little bit of damage onto the structure, as Amphibious Goat is going to get taunted up, needs to get away ASAP. But the healing will be there. Now, Pyroblast going to be coming through, but again, at this point, when there's no damage with the healers nearby, Amphibious Goat really wasn't under much threat. But now, in this bottom side, Zephy has started on this fortification camp. Will struggle a little bit. It isn't the fastest camp to take out. Ashen One's just going to be able to scout it out and will prevent Zephy from locking it in. And I think the way things are right now, especially by hiding into the fort, Zephy going to be taking a decent chunk of damage. However, in the top side, it looks like they're not even going to be contesting it on the side of CCS, at least not yet. It's about to hit 80%, so if they're going to contest it, if they do want to go, they need to go right now. But look at those puncturing arrows, just Amphibious Goat landing every single one. Already 20 stacks on puncturing arrow, and yeah, they're just going to be able to grab it. And now Travis Party and Amphibious Goat, they're going to be the ones that are going to go into there, just immediately one-shot the siege camp. And now they're going to get started onto this structure. Talk to the Hand going to get used onto the fort. But they are alone versus 4. And this might actually be dangerous, because if they just full commit to taking down this protector, they're going to be able to. They do a lot of damage. Now, Sloth and Morales NPC, they're in the area, but when you put both of your main DPSs, when you put both your playmakers there, it does get a little bit scary. Now, Sloth is definitely in the area, going to be able to get the Condemn onto 2 with the Blessed Shield as well. And Chastise over top. Emerald win, though, buys enough space. Wits End going to be able to survive now. Talk to the Hand is going to push Volcomer to a bad spot, but what else do they have? The Emerald Bind, they have the Chastise, but with the extra dodge, not going to be able to get more. But now Unicycle Yay is hit by the Containment Disc. Do they have the follow-up? It's just going to be the silence. Unicycle Yay going to be able to walk it out. So unfortunately, not able to get too much off of this protector. They did get a little bit of extra damage on the top side. They did get a little bit of extra picks, but now Sloth just hiding in the brush. The rest of the team hiding behind, but Volcomer not going to let the team walk through that way. Going to make them take the safe route. Because of that, they're going to be able to spot out this play. Hunting Wave just going to get used defensively. Not going to be needed, but level 16 advantage is still live for them. Ashen One's still able to get the passive pushes as well. We'll get a little bit of damage just off of these minions. And again, as we get later and later into the game, these small minion waves start dealing a ton of damage. But a fight actually breaking through Ashen One. I was not expecting that, but Ashen One, yeah, kind of peeked into that fortification camp. Was alone into 5, so we'll definitely be going down there. But the siege camp going to get started onto that top side in the meanwhile. And that's actually a really big death to get too. Because CCS, because they're able to get that kill, they know they have the numbers in the bot side. They already have all 5 members. They're just going to be able to get both these fortification camps. And now a little bit of a base race starting to appear for these two teams. Top side going to get pushed in first. Black Arrow's already committed onto this fort. And both sides could continue the push if they wanted. I was actually expecting both sides to really commit there. But instead, they're going to be committing over to this mid lane fort instead on the side of Suds with Buds. And CCS, they're going to push this wave in, but they're not going to full commit to it. So both sides just feeling each other out, still playing slowly. 7-3 the kill score at about 13 minutes. But one fort advantage right now for Suds with Buds, 2-1 in terms of that, as Sloth able to finish off the last little bit of the wall in this middle lane. Now next control point is going to be in the bottom side, so that could be their next point of action. But again, the items currently favoring CCS since they do have the 2 turrets, but there is going to be the biotic emitter on Sloth. So if they're able to share the damage, the biotic emitter overall is better. But Zeffy, with the staggering blow, gonna try and knock them away, but they're able to find Travis Party a little bit. There is a couple of heroics actually just kind of used. I don't think they're going to be able to follow up too much on it. It was just containment disc and the skeletal mages. Skeletal mages is a very long cooldown, so that might be a bit of an issue with the control point, but it is a very slow objective to take. However, containment disc, it's very short. You can basically chuck it off cooldown, but Sloth could have found Unicycle. Yay, will use the Blessed Shield, but it was unstoppable. And now Wailing Arrow actually lands on 2, and now the fight's starting. Rain of Vengeance will split this back up. And so far, they've managed to burn one of the turrets as Ashen One still fighting in the backline. And now the Umbral Bind, Unicycle Yay in a bad spot, Valkymer as well. But look at that Holy Word Salvation, just going to be able to heal them back up. Biotic Emitter was used, so Wit's End still has one of the turrets, and that's really the only advantage. But now the taunt is going to land onto Ashen One. Everyone's pulled back. Chastise lands onto 3. Do they have the damage to follow up? Umbral Bind as well. Unicycle Yay going to be the first to go down. Emerald Wind not going to be enough. Valkymer already down, and now Zeffy joins the fight, but it's a bit too late. Hog Wild needs to be used to get his safety, and it's a 2-0 for Suds with Buds, and they're going to be able to get this win for themselves on this fight. Level 19 to 18, still slightly over a level. They want this mid lane fort real bad, and they may be able to get it. It is still 3. No Tanker's containment disc. Not going to be able to land on Zeffy. If they got that, Zeffy was definitely not going to be having a good time after, but they're getting a bit of extra poke damage, a little bit of siege onto this mid lane. As Sloth looking for the poke on his elf, not going to be able to find it. Gravity Lapse as well, going to land on a Travis Party. On either side, going to be able to full commit. Skeletal Mages once again going to get committed, but once again just going to get immediately cleared out. Ashen One not going to be able to get too much value out of those here. But the Biotic Emitter has respawned, and they're still 2 down, so this should be something they can get back for themselves. And they get good use out of it. And with that, it is going to go to Travis Party once again. Level 20 has now been reached. They have their Storm Talons, and it is time for them to try and use it. Ashen One still has the push in the bot side. Fortification camp is going to get claimed once again by CCS. But this time, Morales NPCs nearby. Ashen One not going to be in too much danger if they do try to invade onto their own fortification camp. But right now, they're just focused more around playing for this bottom side. But the siege camp is going to get collected by Amphibigoat. But they have level 20 advantage. It is starting to close. Only about a quarter of a level remaining for CCS. So if they want to use it, they need to fight now. But I think it already may be a little bit too far gone for it. But Unicycle Yay is a little bit alone. If they're able to find a Haunting Wave has been used. Now the Condemn. But Emerald Wind and the Unstoppable both used. So even just getting those out is pretty big for them. And now they're going to have pressure in the bot side. They're going to be the ones that are on the objective. So that could be pretty good for Suds with Buds. They're in a good spot now. As meanwhile in the mid wave, Zeffy just pushing in these waves. But again, they have the pass push in the top side and they have the siege camp. So Zeffy and Zelev, they're both just going to have to go back and answer. As in the meanwhile, Amphibigoat just going to be able to collect this fortification camp. So both teams just kind of collecting waves overall. But Suds with Buds, they're the ones that are getting an advantage because Travis Party just able to sit here and keep that progress from moving up. That is the downside of this map, though. You do kind of have to lose a member if you want to try and take this objective. As now, they could be looking for more. The taunt is going to be there on National and Polymorph as well. The shield, though, Wailing Arrow, Amphibigo could be in a bad spot as Valkymer continuing to chase forward. And there it is. They're going to have the Holy Word Salvation keeping them alive. And same with the Biotic Emitter, but it is going to blow up now. But the fight, Unicycle Yay will get sniped out. Amphibigoat able to land it. Emerald Wind will prevent any kind of follow-up. But it's still going to be the 1-for-0, and it is going to be once again on a Unicycle Yay. They're just targeting out the Sylvanas in every single fight, and Amphibigo really dealing a lot of damage at this point. Look at that. And that's just one of them landing. Can hit up to 4. So 33 stacks. Not the highest for puncturing arrows, but it's definitely enough to make a noticeable difference in that burst damage. And now it looks like they're actually shoving in more towards the top side. Travis Party forced to back away. Zelev and Zeffy, they're going to be walking into this boss side. They're going to be trying to take control here. But at the same time, I think Suds with Butts are okay with this. Because instead, they're just going to start pushing for this mid lane fort. And Valkymer taking a decent amount of poke damage. May have gone a little bit too far. Containment Disc is going to be there. Now the fort is going to get finished off. They have the Chastise. They have all the damage. And Valkymer just going to be going down, trying to keep this mid lane fort alive. And now Unicycle Yay is back up, and now Valkymer is going to be gone for about a minute. As Zeffy just forced to retreat, got it to 78%, but not going to be able to lock in this full objective. So now with that, every single fort is off of the map. Travis Party going to be the one they send to try and hold this. But this extra passive push that they have in every lane except bot lane, it's going to help so much for Suds with Buds. It's going to help them with the macro play because they're going to have the first move. If they're fighting 5v5, that means their lanes are going to be pushing in. It just means a lot for them overall in terms of their playstyle and in terms of what they need off the map right now. But now Zelev is going to be in the area. Unicycle EA as well. They're sending in 3. But once again, they're putting both their DPSs into the mech. But the Protector is shoving in. Will use Talk to the Hand here. And I know that's not the real name, but that's also what I'm going to be calling it forever. But this time around, they are being backed up by the whole team. So actually getting a lot of damage. Blessed Shield going to come through, and Sloth able to just burst down Unicycle EA. The Protector is so strong against enemy heroes. It's not even funny the amount of burst damage you're able to deal. But right now, they are going to be focusing it primarily onto the structures. Now, Valkymer looking for the taunt. Gravity Lapse has landed as well into the backline. And they're just going to start going onto the main core as Ashen One going to get pulled back with the Leap of Faith. And now they're looking to end the game here. It is 4v5 on the map. And they're starting to hit the true core right now. 80% right now. But unfortunately, the damage just might not be there. Emerald Wind buying some time as well. And Amphibigo and Travis Party, they're all back. Everyone's taunted. Ashen One still alive from the Leap of Faith. But Amphibigo is the one that's going to be going down instead. Travis Party still trying to DPS. I think they could do it if they're able to walk forward. Winston goes down. So does Zelev. And just like that, Suds with Buds are going to win the game, and they're going to take us to a game number 3. Really well played by Suds with Buds here. And again, this whole series, it just seems to be a very slow, macro-oriented game. But this time around, that one decision to invade onto that bot lane fortification for Suds with Buds, I think that's what really gave them that victory, because they saw, hey, we have numbers here. They're not going to be prepared for this. We have the talent advantage. Let's just go. And go they did. Sloth able to scout it out. Amphibigoat, Morales, Travis, and Ashen just all in the area. They grouped up immediately. They walked in, got 4 kills, stole the camp. And from then on, they were just in the driver's seat. And once you get a couple early leads, especially on a map like Volskaya, it's so much easier to keep hold of those leads. So really well played by them and very well deserved to take us to a game number 3. So with that, we are going to go to one final break. And when we come back, we're going to be heading straight to the deciding match. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back again soon. Welcome back, everyone, and it is time for the decider between Can Counterpick Stupid and Suds with Buds. We are going to be going over to Garden of Terror, the most terrifying garden in the entire world, and that's why they named it such. You can fact check my lore. It is 100% made up. But either way, this is going to be it. This is where we're going to decide who the winner is going to be. Already, both of these two teams have earned themselves a point, but at the same time, both of these two teams have lost the ability to get that extra point for the domination. But it is going to be first pick chosen once again by the home team. I can't counterpick Stupid. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to get the Joanna once again, because last time it was first picked over by Zloth. And game number 1, it was first picked by Valkymer. So both sides have taken that Joanna as first pick. So I would be very shocked to see it getting banned away on the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. I would be very curious what they're going to change up in their bans on the side of Suds with Buds, if they're gonna let that through once again. But so far, they're just gonna be banning away the Anduin. And again, the Anduin, very strong. And we saw Holy Word Salvation. It's definitely not the most common pick, but it works really well that game. It works really well into CCS's style. They don't really like diving all the way into the backline, you know? So with CCS liking to play that front and back, it makes it so much harder to just cancel out that stun. But we are going to be able to see it here. It is going to be the Joanna banned away, so going to be a little bit of a difference. They did typically ban away the Anubarak and the Rhaegar, so one of those is going to have to be available for Can Counterpick Stupid if they do want that in their first pick. But second ban going to be coming through here for CCS as well, and they're going to get rid of the Stukov. Okay, so they're going to continue this double healer ban. I was thinking maybe they're not going to ban it away, because typically they did ban away the Stukov first, but now they're just changing the order for funsies. So they're going to be okay here. Still going to maintain most of their same bans for this first pick anyway. They definitely did change up the draft quite a bit in game number 2. But here and now, it is time for the second pick. And I'm wondering what they're going to lock in for themselves, or will lock in as the ban here. It was Anubarak, it was Rhaegar, and they are just going to ban away the Anubarak. So Rhaegar now going to be in the pool, has not been in the pool for the first 2 games. Could be the first pick coming in for Wit's End here, if it is something that they were a little bit concerned about. So we'll see if that's what they want to do, or if there's something else that they've been prioritizing a little bit more. Now, Garden of Terror, there's no boss on the map. It is just going to be those 3 seeds. Both teams just going to be fighting over that. And it is just going to be the Rhaegar locked in for Wit's End. So not going to be playing that game in the draft. I think even if they maybe didn't want it first, they were a little bit scared that it would get picked away. They're just going to remove that. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit sleepy here. It's been a while since I've cast a double cast, so need to rebuild that stamina for the rest of the season. But Travis Party going to lock in the Falstad and Brightwing, going to be locked in for Morales NPC. So they're going to have a lot of globals already. Dahaka's still available if they do want to pick that for Zephy. Alternatively, the Hogger is still available if they just want to lock that in for a 3rd game. Zephy's definitely been playing quite well on it, so I don't necessarily see a reason to change it unless there's another pick that they think would do them better. And then on top of that, I would expect maybe a tank to come in here for Valkymer. They typically do pick that a little bit earlier, but no, it is going to be the Hogger for Zephy, but it's also going to be the Nazebo for Zelev. Now the next phase of bans is going to be coming through here, and we've seen in a couple games today, Malthael is actually really good into Nazebo and Hogger, especially because they're likely going to get a main tank after as well. So having that percent HP burn is super good. Nazebo gets a lot of HP later on into the game, so they're going to be very strong in that regard. But Rayman's going to be the man instead. They're just going to be trying to get rid of those hard carries, mostly off of Unicycle, yay. But it is Garden of Terror, so they could go onto the Sylvanas again. Tyke's is still available if they want to play that. Vala actually hasn't been touched yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's banned away here, so that Amphibigoat's not going to be able to play it. And it's actually going to be the Maiev banned away. So yeah, they're just going to remove that. I believe Travis Party played that, so they would have had to move the Falstad away, unless Amphibigoat can play that, or Ashen one. I mean, I don't really know all the pools that they have, just basing it off the series. But definitely less of an option for that. But they still have 2 picks available for themselves. I would be shocked if they don't go the Vala. I think Vala's really good, and I think she fits into literally every single composition. There's no major threats on the enemy side for that, but It is going to be ETC for Zloth and the Leoric for Ashwin. Okay, so if they're leaving Amphibigoat all the way to last pick, considering they've been locking the Vala pretty early, I'm wondering if they have something up their sleeves here. And the question becomes what? And the answer could be Sergeant Hammer. Because I'm looking at this, I think this is a fantastic Sergeant Hammer game. Ravenous Spirit could be a little bit dangerous coming in from Zella, but other than that, there's really no backline threats. So, and with ETC in the area, with the Leoric in the area, and Garrosh going to be the final pick for Valkymer. Also not a tank that can get hit the backline. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm just baiting myself into this, but this looks like a very good Sergeant Hammer angle to me. I think if that gets locked in here, it's very difficult for CCS to do anything with it. In theory, Garrosh could into the fray Zephy in, and then Zephy can maybe try and deal with it, but I think it would be very difficult. It would be a very high level play, but nope, they're just gonna go with a standard Amphibigoat on the Vala. I mean, and like I said, it's still good here, without a doubt. Vala's just kind of good in everything. Garrosh is a little bit easier to get stacks on. And we've seen that Amphibigoat does prefer to go the Hungering Arrow build. Now, the issue with that build this game is Nazebo. That zombie wall is going to be able to block a lot of those. So it could be a little bit difficult to get into those team fights. Need to be a little bit more concerned about that. But either way, it is time for the third and final game between CCS and Suds with Buds. And it is time for the call to action for the Patreon. Definitely go to patreon.com, Heroes Gaming Nexus, whatever it is. The link was up above. You can also type !NGS. I'm pretty sure that's there as well. And help support this league. I'm a Patreon member myself. It doesn't cost a lot, just a couple dollars a month. Help support this league and the game that we all know and love. Help us continue to be able to play together. And kind of make sure to keep the servers running. None of that goes towards the people. Everyone does this out of joy, out of passion. It's all volunteer work. This is just to keep the website running, all situations like that. It's primarily that. We're on AWS. I don't know how much they're paying, but it's probably a lot, considering, again, AWS is expensive. But either way, it is time for the game. And it is going to be 4 versus 3 joining into this middle wave, as they are going to be splitting up a little bit. Now, I'm wondering what talent it's going to be, and there it is. Okay, once I saw the fall side go into the offlane, I was expecting to see that frequent flyer. Because if you are getting Gathering Storm, this mid lane fight can make or break your stacks early on so fast. Because you're standing right there, boom, you get 4 stacks, maybe 6 even. And you're just up and at him, you know? But if you're just pushing in the side wave, you can get a lot just by kind of hitting minions, already slowly but surely building those stacks up. Now, it is going to be Puncturing Arrow as well coming out from Amphibigoat. So, will be a couple stacks coming through in that direction. Now, Voodoo Ritual is going to be stacking up, and it is going to be Thing of the Deep once again. So, just kind of building the overall abilities for Nazebo. Travis Party just trying to get a little bit of extra poke damage here, as the wave is going to be crashing, but not going to be getting matched by CCS quite yet. But Zloth and Amphibigoat, they're waiting for a rotation. They could be looking for a play, and they found Zelev, but they're not going to be able to commit onto it. But while they're looking for the play, CCS, they're nowhere to be found, because they're hitting their neutrals. But Wit's End actually walking a little bit far. Will get hit by the polymorph and the face melt, but Valkymer are going to be in the area. Unicycle EA just DPSing over top, as both sides are taking decent bits of damage. But there is a definite numbers advantage here right now for Suds with Buds. But they weren't able to get anything. They were able to reset the siege camp, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because they're not the ones that are going to be able to get it. As in the meanwhile, Zephy was the one that got the siege camp in the top side. It's now Zloth trying to get in the way again. Phase shift is going to be coming through. Morales NPC in the area as well. Zombie wall not going to be able to find Sloth, as Travis Party is going to be in the bot side trying to finish off this camp as well. A couple more autos will do the trick, but overall, a lot more neutrals going the way of CCS, and it looks like they're trying to kind of remake that same play they had from game number 2, where they're just walking and they're just looking for fights, but they're down level 4s now, and I think that's a major thing they're missing. They were up in talents when they did that last time, and now it's 5 members strong from CCS. They are going to tie level 4s now, but they're just not going to be able to walk forward, and because of that, there's going to be a lot of extra camps being taken on the side of CCS that are not being touched on the side of Suds with Buds. They have been soaking a little bit better though, so they're actually not too far behind in terms of the actual XP lead. It's only about a quarter level, but it's still going to be a difference. And now Valkymer walking forward, trying to make a play. Wits End as well, but Amphibigo just going to be able to stack a little bit of a puncturing arrow on that. But this push is going to be pretty strong. I mean, this is a bruiser camp on its own, and 4 members strong, just walking in with it. They don't have a lot of DPS to just clear this out. Multi-shot is really their only AoE tool, and again, with this major in the backline, it's going to be able to reduce the damage for it. The wall is already all but gone, so they're definitely going to be able to secure that for themselves. Now Valkymer still walking forward, looking for a potential play here that hasn't really been able to find the target yet. But at the same time, you don't really need to find a target. Sometimes just being able to zone is all that you need. And now Travis Party going to be trading a little bit with Wits End around the seeds, but neither side has really fully committed to it quite yet. Now Unicycle, yay, I'm gonna start the channel. Valkymer just buying some space, but will get interrupted. So again, no one's able to get up. Zoth in a bad spot. Phase shift is gonna come through though. Zoth still okay. Unicycle, yay, taking a lot of damage. Travis Party and Amphibigo just getting consistent DPS on one more Hungering Arrow, but chain healing gonna be coming through as Ashen One just trying to get in the way, and that's actually gonna be the first seed of the game. Going over to Subs with Buzz, but Zephy trying to be a little bit sneaky and might actually succeed. Ashen One taking a lot of damage as well, and yeah, this is just going to be a stolen camp. No one has realized Zephy is there until that ping comes through, and now because of that, Ashen One could be in a dangerous spot as well. But with a Hog Wild, Zephy just able to walk away, and that's just going to be another camp that, again, it's more experience going the way of CCS, and it's more time spent by Subs with Buds trying to clear it themselves afterwards. Now they will be able to clear it, but they don't get anything for it. Travis Party going to be getting pushed in by Zephy as another Hungering Arrow going to be able to land. And the push is going to continue. This top wall is also gone. Just again, CCS, if you let them play their game, you don't try and push the pace, it gets so difficult. And you definitely see they are trying to push the pace on the side of Subs with Buds. I think they've realized what style play works into it, but I don't think they've realized the conditions they need in order to make it work. Because CCS, they're willing to play slow. They're willing to back away if the fight doesn't look good. But if the fight does look good, like right now, they're willing to fight it. And right now, that is exactly what they're doing. Zephy not going to be able to land the staggering blow, but it is going to be 5v4 in this top side. However, they're just continuing to push Zelev in the bot side. So if they're not able to get any kills, I think they're okay trading a seed for it. But right now, they're just going to try and contest it anyway. They have the HP bars. They feel pretty safe with their healer. And they're just going to continue fighting. But now look at that. Power slide lands onto 3. And they have the face mount as well. But Sloth just going to get thrown over the wall. And will get taken down. Valkymer still alive as well. Very low HP. But obviously with Garage, that's a lot of extra armor. And bottom fort is just gone. And they're the ones that get the kill 4v5. So that's about as well as the play could go for CCS. They're going to be able to get the seeds. They're going to be able to get a little bit of a push happening in the middle lane as well. So they're in a very good position. And then they have the siege camp just pushing freely in the top side during all of that. So about a half level lead now for CCS. They're slowly but surely continuing to grow their lead. And this passive push in the bottom side, that's really going to be the difference maker this game. And I think that's where most of their leads are really going to start playing out. But now they're able to find Wits End. Takes a decent bit of damage for the poke. And Wits End starting to get decently low. But into the fray going to get used by Valkymer to prevent the kill from going over. But still going to burn a decent amount of HP. Maybe a little bit of mana as Wits End needs to try and heal back up. But at the same time, Ashen One just needs to keep this bottom wave shoved in. Level 10 advantage now coming in for CCS. And let's see if they have anything interesting. Warlord's Challenge. It is going to be Hyperion. And as I say that, immediately going to be Pop. And again, Hyperion, very good for just sieging. It does a lot of damage to structures. This fort's starting to take a decent amount of poke as well. And they might even just be able to brute force their way in. But now Sloth, level 10s are there for the entire team as well. But the Groundbreaker going to keep Wits End safe. The Power Slide almost lands. But it is going to be the Mosh Pit. It was already selected. It is going to be Blink Heal. And everything else, Rain of Vengeance and Tomb. So basically what's expected. And it is the Hortipult as well. That's another one of those games where we do see different selections sometimes. But now fight's starting to come through. Valkymer taking a decent amount of damage. Ancestral Healing is going to land though. Rain of Vengeance into the Mosh Pit, just continuing to hold on to 3. Wits End takes so much damage, but Warlord's Challenge keeping them alive. But Valkymer somehow still alive. So is Wits End. And now Wits End goes down. Then Valkymer will follow. Unicycle Yay going to be next. And just all of a sudden, it's another 3-0. Suds with Buds just able to win away the fight. And it was a 4v5. Zephy was in the top side, stealing away this bruiser camp. It worked the last time they split up the fight, but this time it definitely does not. And this time the bruiser camp is also going to get collected on this bottom side. So they're going to have the push coming in 2 different directions. They're going to be on 2 seats as well. And Ashen going to run up to the top side. Will be able to clear this out. They will definitely take a decent bit of damage onto those structures, but I think the trade overall is worth it. Suds with Buds now have the level lead. They're going to be able to get a little bit of extra structural damage down here as well. Not going to be able to finish anything off. Not going to be able to get any full permanent advantage for themselves. But the XP is going to be nice, especially considering they were pretty far behind earlier on. And the 3rd seed is spawning. If they're able to get this 3rd seed, that's really going to solidify the lead for them. Now level 12 on both sides. No one has level 13 yet. Could come up soonish. They're already at about halfway to level 13 on the side of Suds with Buds. If they get that talent, that would give them a very strong advantage for this next fight. But they would definitely have to use it. They would not have the talent advantage for long. Especially with the passive experience you get in the bot wave. But the talents are starting to grow. 17 on frequent flyer, 20 on puncturing arrows. Zoom cycle 8 takes a decent bit of damage. 2 full arrows coming through. And the Hyperion just going to immediately get popped over in this bottom side. They will both be able to clear away each other's way, so it's just going to be poke damage primarily used. Might even be able to finish off this fort if... Yeah, just barely not enough. Very low HP though. And they're just looking for Travis Party. So CCS, it looks like they're ready to give this away, but Zephy has different plans. Just going to go in and start fighting. But with the Rain of Vengeance, with the Mosh Pit, they're just going to use it solo. They're going to be able to get the kill. So Zephy just going to be going down, and the Seed's still going to be going the way of Suds with Buds, but they do lose their mid lane fort in the process. But the Garden Terrors are starting to come through. Sloth is in the area, will be able to find Wit's End Polymorph as well, and the Ancestral Healing will be able to buy a little bit of time, but Wit's End just nowhere to go. Ravenous Spirit gonna get used as well, but it's a channel, so Zelev not gonna have that either. And now this is where they could try and even out these objectives. Ashen just getting a free push over on the top side. They're pushing together as a team 4v2 into this mid lane, and now they have found Amphibigo, and they get the stomp as well, and Valkymer is alone trying to fight, but the Unstoppable perfectly timed to prevent the Gust from pushing them back. But that is going to be the top lane fort going down. That is going to be a good chunk of the wall in the mid lane. And again, a full level lead now starting to grow. And they have a wave to push with. It's just Valkymer and Zephy here. They could try to clear this out, but some of the damage is definitely going to be able to stick as more puncturing arrows are landing from Amphibigo. Just continuing this onslaught of damage. But now the Polymorph comes through. Hog Wild as well, but Zephy not able to find that angle. But during all this, Ashen still just pushing into the top side. Might even be able to finish off this entire wall, but could be in a dangerous spot now. Is going to use the Wraithwalk when Valkymer right there, going to pull it right back. Warlord's Challenge as well. Groundbreaker still available if they even need it. And Phase Shift. If that Phase Shift went through, Ashen definitely goes down, but I think so does Morale's NPC. So very lucky that Ashen went down in that fight, because genuinely that could have been a second kill for free as well. There's really nowhere to go for Morales, even with the blink heals, but either way, they do lose one on the way out, but they get the mid lane fort, they get the top lane fort. Overall, they've evened out the map state of the game as well. They're still up in levels, and they do scale quite well. I think that's one of the main things. There is a strong scaler in the form of, where are they? They're in the top side. Zelev. Trying to get those stacks on the Nazebo. Already finished off the Thing of the Deep quest. And the Voodoo Ritual is just going to continuously stack up. So just going to be gaining that health, going to be gaining that mana. It's not going to give them more damage, but Nazebo becoming tankier does mean they can stay in the fights longer. They're going to be able to get more spell rotations. Now Zephy just going to be hit into the mosh pit, but will get canceled up. But Zephy's still taking a lot of damage. And one last Hortiple, not going to buy enough distance. The auto attack was already coming in from Amphibigo. And because of that, they're going to have another 4v5. Siege Camp is up, and Sloth immediately walking forward, trying to take this. And they're just going to get started on the objective. Amphibigo just going to walk in, use both those Hungering Arrows, and just like that, they're going to steal away another Siege Camp and get themselves some more passive pressure. They have their Bruiser Camp up. They could steal their Bruiser Camp. Seed already up in the bot side. They do have options, and it's still 10 seconds until Zephy's up. And it looks like they're just going to settle for the Seed. That's going to be their play of choice, as Amphibigo got a start on the channel. But it looks like the top side, Morale's NPC might be getting collapsed upon here. And it looks like CCS want to make the play, but Phase Shift just in time. They are going to lose their top lane fort. It was already low HP, and it is going to get traded on this bottom side. but it is going to be a seed and the fort. But they're continuing their push in the top side. Hyperion even going to get popped out, and that's the power of the Hyperion. Unicycle Yay just going to be able to get a really solid push, but it's a base race starting. But you're not going to be able to win the base race in no Hyperion, because right now, Ashwan trying to get the mid lane pushed in, but the CCS, they can keep going. Genuinely, at this point, I think that if they keep racing, they can look to end the game here. Top lane keep is going down. They haven't even broken the wall. And now they're going to get started on the core. Everyone's starting to reset. Zephy with the Horrible. And Zephy just going to be able to cancel one. Moraz MBC going to be able to cancel two. Is that enough? It's just lost Travis Party National one. And now the Gust is going to come through there. Could look for a fight, but I don't think they're going to be able to find anything. Zephy able to buy enough time. And definitely a huge macro victory coming out once again from CCS. They do lose this seed though, and now they're able to find Unicycle Yay. Ancestral Healing is there, but so is the Entomb. And now Unicycle Yay starting to take a lot of damage. Zelov in the meanwhile trying to get the Ravenous Spirit through, will get canceled. Warlord Challenge on to 3, and Zoth taking so much damage. Mosh Pit in the back line, and they're able to take down 1, they're able to take down 2, and they're able to take down 3. Unicycle Yay gonna follow Zelov. Last alive, no mana, even less health. And that's gonna be a 4-0. Again, huge macro play from CCS. And then the fight goes the way of Suds with Buds. That's been the story of this entire game so far. And now Suds with Buds, they're just going to walk into the top side. They still have 30 seconds before Ernanel spawns. So they're just going to full commit onto this top lane keep. They lost their top lane. They're going to even it out. That's the state of the game we're in. And just like that, the structures are all even on the map. They may want to continue for the game here. It's 15 seconds. This might be a bit scary. They don't have the HP bars. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do this, but they're definitely going to give it a go. They're already finished off the shield. They're going to continue the Entomb, even being used just to buy some space. With the Hortipole coming through the stun, the Polymorph Zephy is being ignored. They're just focusing down the core. They just need some damage. Just a Gust as well, and a couple more hits, and just like that, Suds with Buds, they're going to get the final hit, and they're going to win this series 2-1. I should have never doubted them. I think that's all I can say. Suds with Buds, you knew what you were doing with that push. 30 seconds left. That was like perfect. I think if the death timers were 2 or 3 seconds shorter, that genuinely looks different, because that's going to be 2-3 more seconds that they have to tank of everyone with the core still being healthy. So really well played, really well being able to see that that was a winning play. That was a winning push. So congratulations to Suds with Buds, just coming out the victors today. 3 points awarded to them, but still 1 point going to be going the way of Counterpick Stupid, since it was a 2-1 series, no clean domination. And this is a pretty good series, and like it was said earlier, there's going to be 3 full matches between them, because these two teams, they're the ones that have, obviously it's home and away, since this is the double round robin, and they have each other for flexes. So we're going to be able to see this match at least 2 more times, maybe even more if we get a playoff. So hopefully we can keep this kind of series going. Now, in the meanwhile, give me 1 moment as I try to set up an interview here. Da-da-da. But yeah, so while we're waiting for someone to join, if someone does join, thanks all for watching today. Yes, Trunks Elmo, that is the Tokibi. Everyone in chat, Trunks Elmo, a local celebrity, by the way, one of my co-casters for, well, I say for a couple of leagues that we cast together, so, very good caster as well. Be sure to, check them out as well. They cast on Aegis, Titan, they cast on basically everything. As a lot of league casters do, to be fair. It's a lot of fun to work with them. But yeah, I'll give it 1 more minute. If no one joins, we're just gonna call it a night. I gave them the ping. I did my due diligence as the broadcaster. So either way, it was definitely a fun one. First series of the day was definitely a little bit one-sided, but this series was very close, neck and neck. And it was very fun to watch too, because especially this whole season so far, it's been a lot of just brawling nonstop. And I'll be honest, I'm a fan of that kind of gameplay, but I mean, I'm a hype caster. It's what I love. It's what I do. But seeing these kinds of maps as well, where it is going to be the macro play coming through, just trying to out-rotate each other, knowing where you're allowed to push that little bit further, knowing where you're allowed to just kind of position knowing when you have to stop, when you go back, when you focus the objective. It's hard. And I think CCS especially did a very good job of doing that. But the issue is Suds with Buds just completely broke their rhythm. And I think that's kind of what CCS can take away from this game. They need to prevent anyone else from doing it. Honestly, that's a good idea, Sean. You really should get into NGS. We need more casters. Like, okay, so for today, I casted 2 series. I think there was 12 scheduled. So that's 10 uncasted matches. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. I definitely recommend it. You haven't touched HOTS in so long? Dude, now is the time to get back into it. New patch came out on PTR today. They are changing the map numbers. They're changing how experience works. They're changing how minions work. I'm guessing they're going to bring it back.
Sorry for the delay. Had to do a few things for my team bounce.
That's no problem, but for everyone to chat, we do have an interview now, and Zloth has joined us. So, congratulations on the 2-1. How does it feel?
Thank you. That felt hard fought and super fun outside the first game. I think the first game was CCS had that really locked down.
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that because it did seem the more you played, the more you were kind of able to figure out CCS. Do you kind of agree? Was there a change in strategy going into those second and third games?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a change in strategy. In the first game, so we did scouting and we recognized early that CCS had very proficient macro. And I think between the way we drafted and the way we played, CCS did a very good job playing the macro and just completely dominating the map that way. So in our subsequent drafts, we sort of made an adaptation to like, okay, we need to pick up more wave clear from one of the DPS slots, or sort of like diversify how we're clearing our waves in order to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was able to work. And I noticed, especially in games 2 and 3, it seems like the focus was less trying to match their macro and more just kill them. Just fight them at their camps, don't let them play, break their rhythm. And it worked really well. So I definitely have to give a shout out, especially in game 2. I noticed when you were scouting out that fortification camp, you saw, you're like, hey, they're completely alone there. They're low HP. We could just take down Unicycle Yay and just win the fight off that. And then that blew up into a 5v5, which, again, since you had the early move, you were able to take advantage. So, again, really well spotted.
Absolutely. And I'm appreciative that my team was, very responsive to my calls, even though, some of my calls were not good. My team was there to support me.
Now, with a team like CCS, this is a double words do not work. Double header division. There we go. Home and away against every single team. You also have them as your flex team. So you're going to be playing them at least 2 more times this season, not including potential playoffs. So is that a good thing or a bad thing in your eyes?
I think it's a good thing just because from my perspective, it makes sort of the drafting and the gameplay more interesting. But it does make me nervous in the sense that, as we feel each other out more, both teams are going to have to become more creative in order to eke out those small advantages against each other and actually close out the games.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, it does seem like you and CCS, you're very evenly matched. I think you'll agree with that as well. But
hey, thanks to the NGS committee for the good placements.
Honestly, true. Always shout out to the NGS committee. They do a lot of hard work for volunteers, like really good work. And they usually get it right, too. And then on top of that, so with the rest of the season coming through, are there any other teams that you're kind of looking at, either as strong opponents or just someone you want to play against?
So I think at this point, I'm kind of eager to play against the 3 teams we have previously played. Our team has been going through a lot of changes early with our roster, and so I'm kind of excited to have those rematches again once we're in a more solidified position and hopefully have some more interesting games.
Oh, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for those because this was definitely an interesting game to watch. I was not expecting them to come back just overall in this series. Like you said, game 1 looked very locked in for CCS, but after that, just breaking their rhythm. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how the meta develops between your 2 teams.
Agreed.
But with that, is there anything you'd like to say to the audience? Any quick shout outs you'd like to do?
Thank you to you, obviously, for casting the game. Appreciate supporting the NGS community and casting for all the viewers. Thanks to CCS for the great matches, and shout out to Valk because he runs an awesome organization with CCS between his Nexomania and a lot of the developmental things that he does. I think is really awesome. And yeah, thanks to NGS committee, obviously, for the good placements.
Always NGS committee. Always got to thank them. But yeah, thank you very much for coming to this interview, and congratulations again on your victory over CCS tonight.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. And with that, it is time to truly wrap up for today. I may or may not cast tomorrow. I have to do a couple of busy things, but depending when I come back, what time are the games tomorrow? I might be able to catch one or two. We'll see what time I get home. I'm probably only going to be able to do one series, if any, tomorrow, but definitely keep an eye out. If I won't do it then, I'm definitely going to be picking up more and more. The busy part of my life is officially done as of this week, as of just before this weekend, so I finally have free time, finally can relax, finally enjoy this music, by the way. I don't know why, but I really love this music. I mean, I selected it, but yeah. Yeah, thanks all for watching. I'll see you all soon enough, and you have yourselves a great night. Oh yeah, and don't forget, if you're northern states or Canada or something like that, Northern Lights, check them out. They might be coming near you tonight, so keep your eye out into the skies. I'll see you all tomorrow.